This is the 91st minute.
Manchester United produced a brilliant comeback from 2 goals down to win 3-2 against Nottingham Forest. That makes it 11 wins in a row against Forest for United. And also, they extend their unbeaten run at Old Trafford to 31 games. This match was on at the same time as the Arsenal game, so I doubt, Milo, you saw any of this one. Or
only the highlights, yeah.
Yeah, the highlights. We went down in 4 minutes, 2-0, right? So I like I was just mentioning in the break, I'm watching these games on tape delay, right? So I watched this game at 5 p.m. It started at 7 a.m. And I'm sitting down. I had my dinner, I had a nice cold drink, and I sit down at the computer and I watch the delayed game. Boom, 2-0 down, and I'm like, is this really what I want to be doing with my life? It's like, is this the right decision? Have I made a wrong decision? Should I just be watching Match of the Day right now, to end this? But I'm glad I watched it. I didn't skip any. I skipped halftime. But what a crazy couple goals early on. I mean, that to concede like that off your own corner was just crazy. Marcus Rashford. I mean, if I say anything, if I speak, I'm in big trouble about this once again. So I'm not going to go too far into it. But let's just say he could have done a little more on that breakaway goal, which he let Awoniyi past him. But great fight from the guys to come back. Dalot starting at left back because Shaw is out for an extended period of time, as well as Tyrell Malacia. So we'll be looking at replacements for him. But good fight back. A lot of people questioning some of the penalty call on Rashford, which gave Bruno a penalty, which he scored. Casemiro had a header. I don't know if you guys saw this. He headed it, and it was almost like it looked like it was like hard to miss. He was just like, he glanced it straight across the net. Bruno put a chance wide. Anthony Martial started the game for a change, so that's his first start. He played I think 60 minutes. But we looked. It was good to see a comeback. I believe that's the first comeback in the Ten Hag era at Old Trafford. I don't think we've ever had to come back at home. And I doubt we've come back away. Maybe we have. I don't know. But it was good to see us make a comeback. It was good to see get a win, really. It's just such a crucial win going into that Arsenal game, and after that Spurs defeat. A loss here would have done, I don't know, it would have been pretty doom and gloom. So it was really important that we got that win. I thought Anthony had one of his best games. Funny enough, he has some sort of documentary coming out, I believe, 2-part documentary, and you always wonder if maybe when some sort of like self-promotional thing is coming out, they play better or something because they know they have more eyes on them. I don't know, but he looked a little possessed. Like he was very on point, playing like wide winger, beating his man, getting crosses in, getting decent shots, and still needs a goal. Really, he still hasn't got the goal yet, but he's looking much more dangerous off that right side. Marcus Rashford did really well to get a nice cross in. He used his pace. He looked very much like Martinelli almost, right? When he simplifies his game, he plays better. And when we went 2-0 down, you kind of saw almost a no-nonsense attitude to a lot of our players, which I think we need to have more often, because when we're coasting in games at a either 0-0 or whatever, or up a goal, you just see a lot of these lax plays, right? A lot of lax plays, and Rashford's not immune to that either. But when he took on was it Serge Aurier, I believe, was the right back. And you just use simple pace, got past the player, got a cross in. Luckily it missed the center back. It could have easily been cleared, but center back missed it. Eriksen tucked it away. Nice goal there. And I think having Eriksen on the pitch against Forest was a blessing in disguise, because he was really able to set the tempo. I think he's the only real orchestrator we have in that deep lying midfield area. But injuries, we got a lot of injuries. I mean, Højlund's coming back next week. Hopefully he gets off to a good start. He deserves time, but he's not going to get it. He's just not going to get. That's just not how it works. So he's going to be under a lot of pressure to do something pretty quickly. But yeah, kind of a beat-down team. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts about the game or anything you want to add to there.
Yeah, I mean, Forest tricky. I think, they were fortunate to go 2-0 up, right? I think some individual errors again, which we've seen in several games this weekend, led to the goal. I wanted to ask you, Car, what you thought about Onana on the first one.
Yeah,
really weird technique. Because I was like, wait, what is he doing?
At first he came out pretty high, and then he went back, and then Awini, I don't know how to say his name.
It's like he tried to guess, like
he tried to call
like
a bluff.
Penalty. Yeah, like he tried to dive and force the guy to shoot. I don't know. It was weird.
He just ended up looking real dumb. He looking real dumb.
So I just, anytime you have question marks over Ramsdale, I'm gonna have question marks over another throughout the season.
It's a tough one because maybe he thought Rashford would make a challenge. Rashford was almost stride for stride with Awini, but I understand why Rashford didn't, because had he taken
his
down
timing,
Awini, it would have been a straight red.
He's not a defender. He's certainly not used to trying to make a challenge under those circumstances, right? So it'd be very risky to get the timing wrong, and it's a red card. And
but to concede like that is it just feels like schoolboy,
It was, but so I felt Forest were fortunate to go 2-0 up, you know what I mean? And then I felt United were fortunate that the 2 goals Forest got were in the first 4 minutes, because had it been like the 2nd minute and the 58th minute, it might have been a different story. It might have been a bit tougher, you know what I mean? But again, like, honestly, man, like it's funny, but like we can have a laugh about it. But I again, much like my team, I think the way your team is playing is, it's not as confidence inspiring as you'd like it to be. No. And it's, you ground out a victory, you got the comeback win. I think it was a penalty. I watched that. I watched like a longer highlights, like extended, like not like just the snippets, because I wanted to see the penalty decision from different angles. Because sometimes if you watch it, you just see the live shot and then it doesn't show you any replays. I don't like that. And Casemiro's header that you were talking about, almost like point blank that he missed, that was before he scored the equalizer, right?
Yeah.
So he will be really relieved that that he got that equalizer, because that was a hell of a.
That reminded me of the Bruno header last weekend, where he just had the goal at his mercy, and it just, it might have been worse because he was closer, but they were similar.
They were similar, yeah. Missed headers, and also speaking of headers, Wan-Bissaka on defending that second goal set piece. It was, Lisandro, he gets ahead to it. He didn't even jump that high, Lisandro. So it's not like the cross was like over his reach. He just mistimed it. Maybe if he was taller, he would have gotten it out more comfortably. Okay, people will criticize his height or whatever. But and then Wan-Bissaka right behind him, just kind of like shying away from the ball. It was just such a poor start. But I thought, it's just so average right now, and for the standards that I expect, and maybe you too, Milo, from Arsenal, from United, the standards that I expect, is just so average right now.
The first 2 games we dominated and deservedly won. I just think we're making it harder, given the way. I also don't think, I think we're trying to fit Havertz in and have him do that thing that Arteta wants him to do. Like, you know what I mean? Like NL talking there about trying to find what works for United. I think with the new personnel we've got, I think losing Timber has caused a lot of this, by the way, for Arsenal's sake. We'll try to keep it with United, because we talked about it quite in depth, but I definitely can relate. You know what I mean? I think I don't think your strongest 11 is set in stone. I don't think your you know what I mean? Like there's question marks and.
We're also hit by injury right now. You know, Luke Shaw being out. We have a lot of injuries now, and some of the names being thrown around. Cucurella coming in on loan, Marcos Alonso coming in on loan, Sergio Reguilon coming in on loan to help fill that left back spot. The other one I'm hearing, Hoff, is Højbjerg. Apparently, Ten Hag worked with Højbjerg when Højbjerg was in the Bayern Munich reserves. So which is just frightening a little bit, because in his press conferences he's saying things like, we've prepared for every scenario, huh? He's talking about, and it's like, yeah, but now we're hearing rumors. I hope the Højbjerg rumors are being bandied about because we're trying to put pressure on Fiorentina or Bayern Munich to release Gravenberch or Amrabat, just so they realize that it's we could go somewhere else, which brings up a point. Apparently Fiorentina are eventually going to let Amrabat go. We're playing the waiting game till deadline day, basically. That's what's happening, right? We're not gonna they're expecting us to overpay earlier, and we're willing to wait till the deadline and pay a slightly lower fee for Amrabat. But it brings up the idea that the transfer window should close a little earlier, maybe how about August 1st instead of September 1st? Who knows? But that's another conversation. But happy to get 3 points at the end of the day. I don't know. I've been pretty lukewarm on all things United the last couple weeks. Just the last Tottenham game and Wolves game were just so bland, in my opinion, that my pulse, I don't let my pulse get too high. I'm in like a meditative state, just like controlling.
I mean, will you still be in that meditative state when the game kicks off next weekend?
On paper, Arsenal should win. So it's like when you're the
I
underdog.
don't know that we can say that given the way we're playing, but then I understand where you're coming from. So.
Yeah, we have zero attacking fluidity. It's like, it's so sad. It's so it's so bad.
We do have that. I wonder if, looking ahead to that game a little bit, I do wonder if Jesus would start. I think we should start Eddie, because I think Eddie is hungry and raring to go. Jesus coming back from an injury. I worry that Arteta's going to swing the other way and make some changes, but you know what I mean? Like Zinchenko straight in, Jesus straight in. Like, he doesn't need to do that. Just re-solidify the back five and then let Eddie do his thing and bring Jesus on late in the game. That's what I would do.
Jesus came on in the 80th minute, right? I think
he did. Yeah. I mean, he's coming. That was his first appearance, right?
Yeah.
So I wasn't expecting anything out of him at all. Just nice to see him back, and don't think he was out as long as we feared. But I mean, Eddie's been quite impressive, I think, and I'm intrigued as to what Arteta will do in this game, because there are games where, again, I'm going back talking about Arsenal, and I'm sorry, but it's Arsenal United next week. It's Arsenal United next week. So, no, it's not even about the underdog or whatever. It's more like the Havertz, I could see playing him at Old Trafford, right? Physical presence up top, have him lurk and be a body, and he did that in the first two games quite effectively. He had a bad game against Fulham, and it's like he was pushing, trying to get on the score sheet, and he ended up just being in the way a few times, which, do you know what I mean? In the first two games, he didn't do that. He just was a link-up play, and he was a physical presence. So away from home and against City, it might be good to have him in there. Or, at home to United next week, I'd bring him on with 10 minutes to go. Or 15 minutes to go as a presence up there, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of nuances going into next week's game, but the fact that I don't think we're firing on half cylinders and you don't think you're firing on half cylinders, it just makes for a very interesting clash, I think.
It makes for an interesting clash, but let's face, on paper, you guys are just a little bit better, I think, right now. Just
Yeah, I think
like
I think so. But
like we have so many injuries, like so many.
yeah, I mean, and I said we have the Timber injuries hurt. I don't know what's happening with Gabriel. Zinni and Jesus just coming back. Apart from that, we're in pretty good shape. Yeah.
Yeah, Varane went off at halftime as well, so we don't know his.
I saw that. No news on that.
No, apparently it's precautionary, but hopefully it's precautionary. Yeah.
Subscribe to the 91st Minute here on YouTube and use the links in the description to follow us on all social media platforms.